Yep, those are kids. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another weekly episode of RDX Podcast. Excuse any oddities during the beginning here. Kids moves away from his mic dealing with an emergency. So, hey, we just want to say thanks for bearing with us. He'll be right back. But we got a ton of great topics today. Shout out to all of you guys in the live chat. You power the show. And I want to get into some intros as we begin to get into some great topics here. Starting with So Shady.
Hey everyone, glad to be here. Big shout out to everyone listening now, especially the citizens of the Sesh Empire. Thanks for coming out. Can't wait to talk about these topics. What are we, like 12 days away from E3? I'm hyped.
Yep, you should be. No matter who you are, you're getting some good information this year. Colt Eastwood.
What's going on? Yeah, it's going to be a good week. A lot of stuff drops. So I'm excited to talk about it. And yeah, let's do it.
Oh, man,
it sounds like we're like hanging out at like a kids nursery.
I swear. Jeez. So, like I said, he should be back any second. D-Batch, what's good with you, brother?
Nothing much. Chilling. Can't wait to get into these topics. I actually got an Oculus Go, and man, loving that shit.
Sweet.
Yeah, I saw your video review of it. So, yeah, good shit. And, of course, myself. Welcome to the RDX Podcast. And before we get started, sorry, another delay. You know what I got to do. I got to pay the bills. We got some RDX sponsors from Patreon. We got John Yoon. We've got Mel S. Chief Exec. We got the Dirge Knight. We got Early Mendenthal. We got Guillermo Calvillo and the Lethal Papa. Thank you guys for joining the RDX sponsor to our Patreon. You guys power the show. Every single week we have questions or topic suggestions that are kind of integrated into the topics. And this week we got a pretty good question from Mel S. as well. So once again, guys, we got so much good stuff to talk about. Let's talk about, well, I guess I can't talk about that because Kids Move was supposed to lead on that topic, but he's not here. So we can't do that now, can we?
Sounds like he's managing a Fortnite LAN party over there.
We'll ask one of Kids Move's kids.
We can mute him for till he's ready to come back, right?
Yeah, but then I have no experience with that. So let me I could try to figure that out, but there we go. Is that good? Is that good? That should be good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, we'll come back to that topic because that's something Kid talked about. But let's talk about this new Fallout game or whatever the hell's being rumored, Colt, because this is kind of I don't know what's been going on today.
I'm sorry?
But...
No.
Oh my god.
My bad. I muted my mic.
No, I don't think you did. All right, Kid. All right. Are you good to go, brother?
No, I'm muting my mic, but I keep looking and it keeps unmuting.
All right. Well, are you ready now?
Almost. Give me like 3 seconds.
Okay, I'll give you 3 seconds. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Colt, what's going on with this Fallout stuff? Bethesda comes out today with a please stand by, thing on their website. It's different than the past ones. They're like, hey, we're going to be announcing something very soon. What is going on? Explain it to the people watching today.
Well, they put a please stand by, which is the Fallout 4 and the Fallout 3 hold pattern for TV. If it was Fallout 3, it would be in the green cast color. This one is a kind of like a blueprint color with blue and purple and like a pale yellow. So I'm really trying to like dig my graphics mind into what they're trying to do here. They've also tweeted out a couple of a couple of video gifs of like Pete Hines with a yellow and a blue drink cup and a flask. A female developer from Bethesda walking by with a yellow and blue balloons.
There goes that self-unmuting mic again.
Just pay attention to me, please. Anyway, if you pay attention, the branding for Fallout 4 is yellow and blue. So the best I can dig up is some kind of Fallout 4 announcement because my guess is we're not going to see this push for E3. This may be a pre-E3 announcement, maybe Fallout 4 on the Switch.
So here's something a lot of people, and if you search this in, like Fallout 5 is a very prevalent search for this. And people seem to think Fallout 5 is this close. Now, the other possibility was an Obsidian spinoff, right? That was before Obsidian came out and said on Twitter, how do you let someone down easily asking for a friend, and it said hashtag it's not us, basically saying this isn't a game from Obsidian, much like Fallout New Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely not an Obsidian game. They came out on Twitter and mentioned some of this stuff. And that's kind of the thing. If this is a Switch announcement, and they're doing all this for a Switch announcement, that like seriously, D, what if this is a Switch announcement? Do you think, I don't know, would it kind of be a letdown?
Yeah, it would be a letdown for sure.
Yeah, but Switch on Fallout 4 on the Switch is a big deal to the gaming community as a whole. I mean, that's a big game to come to the Switch.
Yeah, but
dude, did they even
It's
release Skyrim yet though?
Yeah, they released Skyrim on the Switch,
did?
didn't they? I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a big deal for that platform, though. That's a big announcement.
Kid, here in a minute, I want to go on your GameSpot E3 rant here, but
yeah.
When it comes to Fallout 4, this announcement's interesting. As I just said, Obsidian say it's not us. What do you think this is, and who do you think it's for?
My fear is that it's a Switch game. Like,
that's your fear keyword.
Yeah, it's my fear is a Switch game, but they're not ready for a Fallout 5. The hope would be that it's a New Vegas 2, but if they already came out and said that, some people are saying it's a Fallout 3 remaster, and I think that would make no sense whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Here's my issue with a Fallout 3 remaster, and let me know if you guys agree with me, especially in the chat. Fallout 3, though amazing for the time, 2008, right? I bought it on multiple consoles, beat it on multiple consoles. If that came out today, it would be so hard to play in comparison. Like, the shooting alone is so stiff in that game, and I feel like to make that game relevant for today, they would have to take some things from Fallout 4, including improved aiming mechanics, and cram it into Fallout 3 to make it be like something I would want to play through again.
Didn't that game lack ADS?
Yeah, it did.
Right. Yeah.
It did. It lacked aim down sight capability. You had to pretty much use VATS for the most part. Shooting is pretty stiff. And like I said, a great game, but it was a product of its time. Cole, don't you think that if Fallout 3 came out remastered, that it would need some of the mechanics from Fallout 4, maybe even some weapon crafting and stuff like that?
No, I don't think they could do that. What I think they would do is remaster it with like the Skyrim remaster, like beautifying techniques. And they could add aim down sights. They could take, like, there's a really popular mod on PC that's so widely used, like it could be easily implemented into Fallout 3. But my problem with that would make me the most upset if they did a Fallout 3 remaster, because if any of you have the Xbox One X, you already have the remaster. It's a full native 4K. It's close to a lock 30. It wouldn't be 60 on the consoles anyway if it was remastered. I don't think that game would run 60 with the way that the PS4 and the Xbox are set up. You already have 16 times filtering. You know, that game, I've looked at it quite closely. I've showcased on a couple of videos. It's already almost just like Red Dead. It's already almost a remaster in itself for free. So this is a little mini rant. If this is what their announcement is, a Fallout 3 remaster for the 10-year anniversary from 2008, this is a product of PS4 lacking backward compatibility that Xbox gamers would lose out on effort being put into a new game while they contract and spend money out on somebody else to remaster a game that doesn't need it.
I am Ancient Gamer in the chat says it's a Fallout Shelter VR. Now, let's say you're right. Wouldn't that piss you off? Like, that this is a big, like, that they're doing this big teasing thing for this? I mean, really, like, I don't, if you keep, because I think they did do something similar with, maybe that was E3, actually. They announced it at E3, Fallout Shelter. So
yeah, at Microsoft Xbox, right? Or
yeah, something like that. So, I don't know. Shady, you got any opinions on this?
I mean, if it's a new game, I'll definitely take it. But if it's a remake of the third, I'd like it to be remade, like you said, maybe almost fully from the ground up with the new Fallout 4 engine. It just plays way better than the last game did.
Yeah. Is that possible, though?
If it's anything else, I don't know if it's possible. I mean, people make some pretty serious mods, so I would assume that a studio could just technically mod Fallout 3 into Fallout 4 engine. They've shut down, like, other game engines that are modded in. I'm not sure. I don't know. But and if it is something else that's small, it doesn't upset me too much. I mean, these companies are huge, and they don't just cater to console and PC. They do a lot of other things, and I think that's fine for them. There's a lot of fans that don't necessarily just enjoy their content on console.
Well, I definitely think that it would need to be a complete revamping, new engine or something, because Fallout 3.5 is just not acceptable to me. But
Very stiff.
I
Very
guess we'll
stiff.
see. We'll see how that works out. Also, I forgot to do a real quick announcement for patron. For those waiting for the game giveaways, they're coming out here in the next week. So check the site tonight. I'm giving away State of Decay 2, Battlefront 2, Wolfenstein 2. I got a lot of games still up for grabs, so just check that site for the complete list. Link down below. I just had to get that out there real quick. Now, Kid, you did a video earlier today about GameSpot being some turds. Now, I want you to bring that passion back and let us know what the hell's going on.
This podcast rated R, right?
It's whatever the fuck it needs to be.
Okay, good.
Hey, what about me?
All right, so no, this the thing is, I've been watching this. This is gonna sound like really ridiculous, but I've been watching this list for
get up on your mic a little bit. You're kind of fading out.
My bad. I've been watching this list for like 3 days, right? Because I looked at the list and then I wanted to see what other people had to say about it, and see if people were going to run with this list. And then I started to look at some of the individual games on this list, and I'm like, yo, they are fucking trolling. It's like what they
explain the list that you're talking about, because some people don't know. All
right, so hold on, let me just pull this thing right up right quick.
So while you're doing that, I'll kind of give a little backstory. GameSpot, the integrity-filled journalists over there, they decide to print out an article called "All Xbox E3 Games Confirmed So Far."
Yeah.
Right. And turns out some of these games aren't even on console.
Yep.
So I mean, just let me know when you got the list up. But it's
all right, yeah.
Go ahead.
I got the list. Right? There we go. Yeah. 3 minutes to midnight. That is a point-and-click Kickstarter game that was announced in February or March to be a Kickstarter. So I don't even know if that's like done, but it's not something you would see on like an E3 stage or anybody's booth. Not a game.
So they're using these games. In this article, they're saying, hey, this is what you're going to see at Microsoft's E3 show.
Yes.
In some substantial way.
Yes.
But can I pre-order that now? That's the question I want to know.
The other game... The other game is Arcade Islands Volume 1 and Heavy Fire Red Shadow, which are both from Mastiff Games. And these are like literally iOS and Android games. Like, I went to the website of these games to see. I'm like, did they really just grab all Mastiff games and put them here? Like,
are they going to be on Xbox at all, or are they just?
I don't know.
Okay, keep going, because your videos. I watched it. Your video is really good. Keep going.
So the other games. So I didn't even bother looking for Defiance 2050. The Destiny 2 Fall update gave me a fucking headache.
So they're saying Destiny 2 Fall update is going to be on the E3 stage
at Microsoft show.
Yeah.
Yes, this is says Xbox One games at E3 2018. That's how. I'm like, Destiny 2 Fall update, really? Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And we all know about the marketing rights there, right?
Sony's got that. And Microsoft has got Battlefield 5.
Even if, right? Guess what? With or without, like, even with the Sony marketing rights, even if they're not even talking about Xbox E3 conference, because everybody keeps saying these are Xbox games that's going to be at E3, it's not the conference. But think about it. There will not be, mark my words, there will not be an Xbox version of Black Ops 4 available to demo at E3. Mark my words, there will not be.
Mark them down.
It's gonna be at Activision, and it may be at PlayStation. But like, that is free, but it will be demoed on a PlayStation. That's what they do. That's what they did last year. If you see an Xbox controller, it's because they're using the PC when they did it at Activision. So
they got a bunch of mobile. They got a bunch of mobile shit.
They got a bunch of mobiles and multiplats.
And a bunch of stuff that's marketed with Sony. Yeah. They don't mention anything. They got some stuff that's not even.
Put Warhammer on the fucking list,
which is a free to play, right?
Yes, that you can play right now. Like, oh my god, like, gosh,
sounds legit.
Who's running with this list?
GameSpot is.
This is GameSpot.
Yeah, 4 days ago.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Run through the list for us.
All right, so the rest of the list will consist of games that you can probably think of, like Anthem's on there, Battlefield 5. They probably put that on there because of the reveal last week. If it wasn't for the reveal, they probably would have forgot. Beyond Good and Evil 2, The Division 2, Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3. I haven't expected that at Xbox. Yeah. Remedy's P7. That's a nice guess.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That's an easy guess. Strange
confirmed is hilarious.
And it's odd because you say that's an easy guess, but that's literally what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just guessing.
Strange Brigade. The Sinking City. Transference.
Never even heard of these.
V-Rally 4, which is probably some Neo Geo arcade game. And yeah, and the other ones I mentioned, which was Warhammer and Defiance 2050, Arcade Islands Volume 1. Oh my god.
Oh,
yeah.
God. So
none of these, the crazy thing about this list, because it says Xbox One games confirmed at E3 so far. Not one of these games is actually an Xbox game.
yeah, and half of them aren't confirmed.
Yes. Yes. So, and people are, if you look at my comment section, there are people very kind of upset or saying I'm emotional. Oh, they're not. They're like defending the list as if I'm wrong for reacting to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, if somebody did this shit for PlayStation, right? Imagine if they had fucking, let's say, Ashen on PlayStation's list. Confirmed for play. Like, come on, that wouldn't make you like raise an eyebrow. Come on, man.
Hey, kid, what's with this?
I raised both of my eyebrows. I've raised them all.
What's with this subheading? An enigma wrapped in a riddle wrapped in an Xbox.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I think their riddle, their enigma riddle is their listing. Oh,
well,
thank you for doing
their
that video.
enigma is what the fuck are you even doing? So I'd like to know what the chat thinks, the live chat too. You know, and Kid says some people are riding the sack because he thinks it's kind of sketchy. Maybe some people don't think it's sketchy, but hit a 1 if you think it's sketchy, and hit a 2 if you don't. We'll see how that kind of turns out. I like to use the power of the chat a lot. So, and of course, participate if you're watching while we're off air as well. So we're already getting some 1s too. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, GameSpot, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't fuck with GameSpot anymore. You know,
these are the same people who couldn't find the settings, even though there was 4 ways to get to settings on the Xbox One at once. But okay,
Credibility shot.
well, yeah, they did say, well, you know, you can't find the settings, and it's like, well, hit the start button. Oh shit.
What's
You
the
know,
start
so-
button?
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. What really? I hope there's some great stuff there. I think there'll be some great stuff there. I mean, and 2 kids, some people rag on just because you're talking about something positive for Xbox. They'll dislike your. I mean, I just put out a Sea of Thieves video, right?
yeah,
Like an hour before this podcast, just showing the Megalodon fight in 4K, right? Really high quality. And people, it had like I checked it had like 40 or 50 up and RD7 down, which is pretty high for me. And that's just because people are like, well, Sea of Thieves, I'm a Sony fanboy. I can't stand other people's games. And I'm not a big fan of the game, but the Megalodon fight's the most interesting thing in the game. I'll say that. So I was like, let me show people this. And, you know, they're Sony dudes and they just got to dislike it. They're all about that shit. So it is what it is. So GameSpot, we'll see how that goes. We already covered the Fallout information.
bro. I just want to say, once Microsoft E3 conference is over, like on Sunday, I'm probably going to revisit this GameSpot fucking list. I don't know how I'm going to react.
It'll be gone.
I'm likely going to revisit that damn list.
Shout out to the Ash and Luke in the chat. All you guys, Lisa Papa, Sir Saxton, you know who you are. Jesus, there's so many of you. I can't keep track. And speaking of, we got about 450 people watching live already. Hit that like button. It really helps the show quite a bit. So real quick, there's a lot of people curious about Far Cry 3 Classic Edition. If you bought the Far Cry 5 Gold Edition, you got Classic Edition for free. Now, it is not a straight port. I've already booted it up. I have access to it today. What it reminds me of is the PC version with like maybe some high settings at 30 frames per second. I would say it's probably 1080p, but I haven't played very much of it, so keep that in mind. It looks better than I thought it would, but really it's up to you guys to decide mechanically if you know are going to go back and do that. I know it's got new achievements because they took the co-op out of it, stuff like that. So You know, it is out today for Gold Edition owners, and it does look pretty decent. Now, Shady, I'm going to talk about this Battlefield 5 issue.
Okay.
And I'm tapping you because you're really intricate and, you know, you're really thoughtful and a lot of your perspectives on some of this stuff. But Battlefield 5, it's World War II. And last week we talked about the reveal, but it hit like the day after. But there's been a lot of bullshit and drama since then. So it is World War II. It's got some extensive customization. No pay to win. They got rid of the premium pass. There's no loot boxes. There's lots of post-launch support. It comes out this October. And here's the drama issue with the game. And let us know what you think in the chat, too. Not everybody's going to agree. And I encourage you guys to, you know, like I said, just accept that everyone's got their own opinion. This is kind of controversial. So, you know, I don't know what everyone's opinions are here. But I do want to ask Shady about how he feels about how they've implemented a vast amount of females into World War II, some of which look like they got robot arms and shit. You know, I'll just start it like this. I know it's not very accurate, and I know people were counting on World War II from DICE for the most accurate representation of World War II ever, right? I completely agree and accept that. I know this completely crushes immersion, but at the same time, it's also a video game. How do you feel about this, Shady?
I mean, they can put in women wherever they want or any minority wherever they want. They're free to do that. It's a creative thing. This isn't a history lesson. It's a game. That's fine. But I'm not going to kid myself and pretend that women are the main audience for this video game. I've been playing video games for a long time, and it's a primarily male thing. I mean, just look at the chat. How many of you guys out there are dudes, not women? How many people listen to the show that are women? How many people do podcasts that are women? It's fewer. Not that they're unwelcome. It's just fewer. Men and women are different. And on that note, I think that the advertising is kind of retarded because it is marketing a group that not as a whole, obviously. I mean, there's people out there. I have lady friends that love gaming and they love shooters. But as a whole, women just aren't interested in that type of thing. And I feel that putting all this effort into trying to lure them in, it didn't work for Ghostbusters. It didn't work for Star Wars. It hasn't worked for the Marvel comics when they gender flopped a bunch of their characters. It's not going to work if that's what they're looking for. And I just think that I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why it's being done. I think it's just kind of silly. I don't hate it. I'm not going to not buy the game. I am buying the game. I'm super excited for it. But it feels weird when I'm running around a battlefield and half the people I'm gunning down are crying out in women voices. I remember playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and at least half of the guards that I was destroying and slicing up and stuff were all crying out with women. And it is immersion breaking, video game or not. I think it's odd. I don't know why it's there. And to be honest, if there's people out there that are going to buy this game only because there's a woman on the cover this time, that's just as bad as the men out there that won't buy this game because there's a woman on the cover this time. It's just as bad. If you're into this type of game, pick it up. If you're not, you're not. I don't care who's on the cover or what gender they are, but I think that the marketing has really missed the mark on this one.
Didn't Madden have a woman on the cover a couple years ago? I'm just kidding. I'm just
Shady.
Shady, well said. Seriously, honestly, really, really well said.
I did bring my own shovel to dig myself out of any holes I might fall into with that. But I mean, it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. By all means, include them. But I think it feels a little bit forced, and the audience isn't there yet. I think it's getting a little too ahead of the movement, so to speak. I mean, I'm playing with 95% men. I know that I am, and it's especially in the shooters, especially in these big
women do game, but largely according to statistics, it's right now anyway. It's largely mobile gaming, things like that. Philosopher Doom in the chat says numbers don't lie, and you know what? You can't argue with the numbers. They're there. That's not belittling or degrading in any way. It's just factual. There were far less than 1% of women. Total manpower in World War II was far less than 1% of women, and that was usually in factories or nurses, things that they either wanted to do or had to do because they weren't able to enter combat. Now, when it comes to disabled people, we already talked about the Xbox accessibility controller. Me and Colt and Rand did a stream a week or two back. Mm-hmm. And you know, people were making fun of that controller and were like, you don't know what it's like to live in their shoes. You wouldn't last a day in a disabled person's shoes. So how dare you give those people shit, for one. And but here now you're having the option to play as somebody who's got a prosthetic limb in Battlefield 5. And it's once again, if it's immersion breaking, those same people kind of have to say, well, if it was a guy with a prosthetic limb on the cover, you wouldn't buy it either, because that's not a thing in World War II either. You wouldn't be allowed to enlist. You couldn't fire one of those weapons effectively. Like I said, nor would you be allowed to enlist unless you were, especially on the Allied side. So
she doesn't have the prosthetic from a farm accident. You know, I'm sure her prosthetic's from the battlefield, but I would think historically, when you lost a limb, you went home. You know, as sad as it was to leave your comrades and you're at the battlefield, or if you not wanted to, but I think you're doing. I don't want to get into the political part of that part, but if you're going to miss out on this game because of something like that, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, especially if you're a Battlefield fan. If you think that you would have liked this game if the woman was on the cover or in the game, just go get the game anyway. Enjoy the game. Set aside some of your personal things, because gaming's supposed to be fun, and this game looks like it's going to, just keep stepping up. And
I will say that I understand both sides of the argument, but that doesn't necessarily mean that just because I have the ability to see where people are coming from doesn't mean I agree with them. So I definitely agree that it's a video game, and I don't take it that seriously, but I also see that it's definitely immersion breaking to a lot of people, and it kind of gets rid of that authentic World War II experience for those that are really hardcore into it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you want to play as a disabled guy in a video game, I completely get that, or a female in a video game, I completely get that. But there's just so much to it. It's so complicated.
I just kind of want to follow up to So Shady's point, just to make things clear, and I'm sure you noticed, this is not really an advertisement to get girls to play or to get girls interested into this game. It's all political. It's all about inclusion. And just like they said, they want to be on the right side of history. And right now, you know what's going on now. EA, a lot of other publishers are not like, new to this type of marketing. When things are going on and it's making headlines, especially in today's day and age, the best thing you can do, especially when you're coming off a shitstorm like Battlefront 2, you got to do things to save face and make up for that. So if the inclusion movement, because this whole women's movement we had been going on with this last couple of years, by putting a woman on the cover of your biggest game, which is Battlefield, if that's going to do you some justice, give you some cool points, and to get you on the right side, that's what you do. I think if you're a fan of Battlefield, get the game. It's probably still going to be a good game. I don't think a woman being on the cover, or you playing as a woman character, if you're even playing as a woman character throughout most of the game, is going to be that big of a deal. I just think the reasons behind what they did were not really to, we want to gear this towards girls. No, we want to be on the right side. They know what's going on. Hey,
so you're saying it's politically motivated?
It's completely politically motivated. Just like with Battlefield 1, we knew what was going on during the time of Battlefield 1. And I'm not saying that they're wrong for it. I mean, hell, if I'm in business, I'm probably going to do the same thing just to find something to jump on, to leech on. It's just so ironic that the timing of that certain events are going on and the decisions are made about video games. It's just to me, it's just too everything. It's too much of a convenience, like too much of a coincidence. I'm sorry, too much of a coincidence for it not to be. It's completely political, and it's not wrong to view it that way if that's what you see. I saw it when I first saw it. I immediately saw it as a political thing. I didn't see it as a thing to like, we want to get more girls buying our game. We want to get more women buying our game. Women are going to buy the game regardless. If women's been playing Battlefield, they've been playing PUBG, they've been playing Fortnite, they're going to buy the game regardless, whoever's on the cover. You don't got to make a cover pink for a girl to buy it. It's just kind of stupid. It's just not going to happen. They're going to buy it regardless. If they're a gamer, they're going to buy what's out there.
That's the kind of thing that happens, though. It's called pandered marketing, and it's very successful. Is when you start to gear your marketing towards groups that you don't take for granted is going to show up anyways. You can maybe pull in some new people. So as popular as putting inclusion into video games is, it is because they do want to have more women come in. They do want to have other people that maybe felt like they weren't a part of video games can be a part of video games, and they are welcome to be there. I found the trailer did a very huge job of making women feel like not only are they going to be represented in the game, but that they're a powerful character. She had her arm disabled. She was shot in the chest in the house and left for dead by the men who jumped out the window when the tanks came screaming through. And at the end of the trailer, it was her that came to save the guy's life that was getting choked to death. I know there's a lot of guys out there that may feel emasculated seeing stuff like that. But in reality, it's showing that the female players get to play a character that isn't just going to be eye candy or have a nurse mission or a side spy mission in the campaign, but they're going to be able to partake in something and enjoy it and feel badass along with it. Damn. And that's totally fine. And I think it's just people have a problem with it because this is World War II, not something like Tomb Raider or Horizon Zero Dawn, which are new IPs and they stand on their own and we all enjoy just playing the game. It doesn't matter who the person is, what color they are, what gender they are. But when it comes to a World War II shooting game, all the media we've seen our entire lives shows men. It doesn't show these women, the few heroes that were out there, the people that were doing stuff. They're not highlighted in the documentaries we've all seen. So people kind of, I don't know, it stands out, but I don't know.
You have a lot of points there, Shady, because I think, and I think this is important to consider. I think, honestly, more than, and Luca had something in the chat I want to cover too, because it's great. But I think more than anything, believe it or not, we don't all hate women, right? Just because you're not a fan of this ID, you don't hate women. Everyone had a mom, right? I will say that. I give people a little more credit than that. I think the people that are probably the most outraged by it is the fact that it is so inaccurate. And they were counting on this to be probably the best World War II game in maybe, who knows, since the next time Battlefield would ever come back to World War II, maybe a decade. And now they feel like, well, that's not going to be the experience or the authentic experience, the gritty, fucking realistic experience I was thinking it was going to be. And, I honestly think that's a big issue. Now, Lucas says, and shout out to over 500 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button if you can. Let's get up to 300 plus before the end of the show. It really helps. But Lucas says playing as a white guy never really bothered her at all in games. And you know what? I'll say the same with Tomb Raider. Playing as Lara Croft, one of my favorite games this generation. Absolutely love the game, like the character. Did not affect my enjoyment at all. And that's the only issue I might take with Battlefield 5, even though I'm kind of like split down the middle, but I do understand both sides very well, is the fact that it is so incredibly unrealistic. And, not that Battlefield's realistic. It's not even semi-realistic. You're taking Abrams rounds. You're taking shells to the face and getting revived.
Well, to be fair, Battlefield traditionally has been a little bit more realistic, especially compared to like Call of Duty and all these other games. So I can see some people being upset that it's not 100% authentic, but at the same time, when did gamers become so sexist? Like, what's the big fucking deal?
I don't think it's all gamers though, D. I don't think it's
think that gamers are sexist because women has always been in games.
But why are people so up in arms on this game? Like, I don't understand it. Like, so what? What's the big deal?
I played 60 plus hours of Far Cry 5 as the female character. When I started the game, I'm like, oh, you can choose a female this time? That's different. And I picked the character, and I didn't realize that I was going to play hours and hours of co-op. So every time like Dealer would join me or Shady, he's like, oh, who's this brown-haired girl? Like, oh, that's just me, Cold Eastwood. But I've played a lot of games where you can choose a female character. I did on my second playthrough of the Mass Effect games was always female Shepherd.
My bro chooses ladies. Yeah, my bro chooses ladies when he plays RPGs. He says he's rather look at a woman's back end for 100 hours than a man's. So,
all right. Well, that's our cue. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move to a different subject. But like I said, guys, everyone's got their own opinion. Let us know what yours is in the live chat. If you're watching that this fact, please post it down below. And it doesn't have to go that way. It doesn't have to be a war in the comments. It's actually a discussion. There are two sides of the coin here. And, if you got any kind of perspective, you understand each side. So, once again, let's move on. PUBG pretty angry at Fortnite. Turns out they took all our money and ran. So, PUBG has actually filed a lawsuit against Epic Games for copyright.
Quit doing better.
Yeah, what they did was they waited and like, let's see how good these motherfuckers do, and then oh shit, all right, we're suing them. That's how it went. You think, kid?
Absolutely. And the thing that seems so petty about this one, it makes no sense because isn't PUBG is it running on Unreal?
I think it's a ripoff itself. It's not the first one to do battle
No,
royale.
it's a ripoff of
It's a
H1Z1.
ripoff.
Yeah,
It's a-
H1Z1.
But isn't it running off of Unreal?
Yep. Unreal Engine 4. Same engine as Fortnite.
Problem
But you
with
know what? In all honesty, I can't even really compare them because Fortnite, yes, okay, it's got the battle royal mode, but the gameplay is completely different. You're building shit, you're doing all kinds of different shit. You know, they're adding fucking Thanos and all these other things. Like they play differently, they look differently. The only thing that's the same is the battle royal mode. And you know what? There's gonna be a ton of games coming out this fucking fall that have that battle royal mode. So what, you're gonna fucking sue all of these guys?
I'm sorry, Fortnite's just a better game. I in my opinion, and I'm just saying my opinion. When I play both, I just feel like Fortnite is just a better, more polished, more enjoyable game. And I don't even really play either very much. But you can see why Fortnite, and I don't think it's just because the game's free. I think there's a reason. There's a lot of free games that don't get very much game time at all, and Fortnite nails some things, and it is up there because it earned it. Do you guys agree?
Yeah. I do. Hate it or love it, Fortnite has mad style to it. You can tell you're looking at Fortnite. Every single screenshot you're looking at, every item in the game is unique looking. You know it's Fortnite when you see those things. When you're looking at PUBG screens or items, you have to be told it's PUBG. They're so generic looking. Army pants, leather jacket, Jeep. It's just so generic. They don't have
Motorcycle helmet.
And they have no one to blame. They have no one to blame but themselves for not getting it up to par on the consoles. And like Fortnite surpassed. Fortnite's running at fucking 60 frames per second. These guys are still running at 23, 25 frames per second. Come on.
Now, D, that's only in the car.
D's right though.
And there's no denying that Fortnite was influenced by PUBG's success, obviously. But I mean, if this is what they think a lawsuit is worth, then everyone who has an online deathmatch mode of some variety owes id Software some serious back money, because Doom was like the first game that did that, and I don't see anyone giving them cash every time there's an online mode, and every game has one. So this is just asinine. It's straight jealousy. I think they can see their ship sinking really quick, and they're trying to do what they can to get a little more money.
Makai23 in the chat says, Dr. Disrespect disagrees. Well, yeah. You know, I don't really care. I don't play either. So
right.
If you like what you like, that's the thing. So I mean, if you want to say PUBG's better, maybe to you that means a little bit more realistic, things like that. But others prefer the performance and the style of Fortnite. And you know what? The biggest thing, it's fucking free. So it was kind of an uphill battle anyway. So I want to talk about EA buying some GameFly cloud tech. And I think it's kind of odd, that 5 years later, you notice all these companies are investing into cloud tech, right?
Yeah.
Cloud services, cloud compute, things like that. And Microsoft was doing this back in 2012, 2013. They were starting to really settle that infrastructure and try to get it down.
Like most of the cloud services.
Yeah.
I think their only real competition is Amazon.
Yeah. So what do you think about all these motherfuckers half a decade late to the cloud party, finally buying up all these other lower end GameFly services, their cloud shit, and trying to integrate it into their own stuff and try to build onto it to keep up with the future.
They can see the writing on the wall that this is going to be the future. Now, I think consoles will always be around in the physical form for sure. But even the next generation of consoles, I think cloud compute is going to play a big part in those consoles as well. I think it's just going to, add more oomph to these consoles. Like I have, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but I'm in one of the NVIDIA's cloud service where you can stream the games on the cloud. And all I'm going to say is that it's like I have like a mat, like a $3,000 rig in the cloud. And there's no latency, and the games just play well. So I can see why these companies are trying to buy up all this software and all these companies, because in the future it's going to play a big role. I think cloud will really come into play in the next year and a half. You're really going to see it come into play. Right now, they're still in the testing phases. They're getting all the quirks and the bugs out. But in the next year and a half, it's going to be a big thing, because a lot of people out there, there's a lot of casuals out there that just want to, I just want to play some games for a little bit. You know what? I'll pay $5 and rent out some cloud service for 2 hours and play the latest game. And that's going to appeal to some people. Some people don't have the cash to go out and build a $2,000 rig, or some people just don't want to get a console, whatever. This is going to be an option for them. And, you can have these things bundled into TVs as well, right? So it's going to be big in the future. So good on them.
That's a hell of a business model for some of these corporations. Pay by the hour to game. Let us know in the chat. Would you pay by the hour? Let's say $5 an hour to play a game, because you're very likely looking at something like that in the future, at least from one of these assholes.
Yeah, for sure.
$5 an hour to play the new game.
Monthly subscription, man. They can't. They gotta go the Netflix route and just have it debit $10 or $15 out of your account a month for access to a bunch of stuff, but. That's a ways off.
I'm talking about the latest games.
I think if they made them cheap enough, they could.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't think having access to every new game, though, like every new game and unlimited access to every new game.
I've proposed that. I mean, would you guys just say yes or no? Would you guys pay $300 a year if it meant every new game was going to be on streaming service? That when it released, you just get on and you stream the game, and the cloud service worked where you just play the game. You don't even install it.
I think so, but I don't think it's going to work like that. I think it's going to work like you're going to be renting out the hardware in the cloud, and you're still going to have to buy your games through Steam, because that's the way the NVIDIA one works. Like your games that you own on Steam, you play them through their cloud. So you're renting out their servers, basically.
I'd rather own the hardware on PC or console, because if I own the hardware on PC, I can do whatever I want from my PC, and if I own the console, I can still play all the stuff I have, or just buy the games and just own them.
Yeah, but
in the chat, by the way.
At the same time, though, there's some people that don't have the cash to do that. There's some guys that have a laptop and they don't want to upgrade, and they don't mind paying $20, $25, $30 a month to use these services. So I think it's gonna appeal to some people. Honestly, tell you, when you try it in the cloud, like I have a good rig. Most of us on the panel, we have a good rig, so that's fine. But the guy that has like a little shitty laptop, and then he rents these services in the cloud, and he's playing this stuff 4K or downscale to 1440p or whatever at 60 frames per second, ultra settings, no latency, and it's super smooth, that's going to appeal to them.
I don't know about that, D, because I've heard my video last week about Xbox Live going free. I heard so many hundreds of people say, I don't play on Xbox because I can't afford Xbox Live. That's why I play on PC, because I can't afford to pay for internet for access. Like, what? How can you? I don't know. I can't imagine somebody.
There's an argument to be made that maybe shouldn't be playing games at that point.
If you're that poor, yeah. I mean, it's not. I don't want the paywall, but
I don't know. Like, find a way to play games if you got to. But $60 a year. I mean, I don't know anybody in this chat right now that would have an issue with even thinking about that, honestly. But imagine. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's just people that they're in a hard rock. They're in between a wall and a hard rock, and there's nothing they can do. So I guess that makes sense.
There's sales out there all the time, and you get yourself a game share partner and share gold that way, half the price.
Yeah, you could go into Costco and get Xbox Live for like $15, $20 off. There's online services where you can get it pretty cheap. So there's ways of getting it. And I don't mean to sound cruel, but I know there's some people that aren't as fortunate, but at the same time, if you're going to be a gamer, you should be able to at least afford $60 to $50 a year for gaming. Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Shout out to almost 550 people watching us live, guys. Hit that like button if you can. Let's try to get 300 plus for the end of the show. I forgot to mention too with Far Cry Classic. I already got a few messages on Twitter about this. No, it is not X1X enhanced. So it doesn't appear in the X1X tab. It's just in the regular games tab. I will say that it still looks decent though. So it looks better than it ever did before on 360. So just keep that in mind. Rare, they're open to other studios using their IPs. And I initially think, well, good for you, Rare, but it's not up to you now, is it? It's up to Microsoft. So what do you guys think about Rare being like, yeah, go ahead, use our IPs?
I thought that's the way it was. I mean, Killer Instinct's already been made by 2 other devs, not Rare. So I kind of thought that was the way it was going down.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying, though.
Rare's like, you know what? I think we're open to that. And it's like, they wish everybody was here. That's already been done twice. Oh, you just didn't know that it's been done twice already. And like I said, that's through Microsoft anyway. Rare don't have that power to decide that over the people that own them anyway. So if somebody did bring back a Rare IP, let us know in the chat. What would you like to see somebody make? What studio? What game? Colt, what studio? What game?
I couldn't even name what Rare does, but Battletoads, right? Everyone would say Battletoads. I think.
Yes.
Something totes, yeah.
That's about it. That's all I'd really care about.
Conker's Bad for a Day. They got
Thieves 2 or
007, Donkey Kong Country. I know they don't have access to any of that, but that's not even their IP. Never mind. But you get what I'm saying. Like they made some good games, but it's not always their IP. And I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. They decided to cover that. State of Decay 2 passes more than 1 million players in 2 days. Kid, this is pretty impressive, don't you think?
Yeah, but you're not really allowed to comment on things like that nowadays. I mean, was it how many players?
Over 1 million in 2 days.
1 million players in 2 days. Well, how much did it sell? It is impressive, being that a lot of the press and like the reviews and stuff about State of Decay 2 came out, prior to its release. So a lot of stuff that was being said about the game with the preview and the reviews kind of like was enough, and it like hit the web enough to hurt really the sales of the game. So the fact that people took advantage of Game Pass, or they bought it, went out and bought the game to experience it, is pretty cool for a game. Like, even though the original one sold 5 million overall, I doubt it had like 1 million players like in its first like release. So to see that growth and that everybody jumped on it was pretty interesting. And that is successful, however way people want to look at it. The game also debuted #2 on the UK charts, and that doesn't include obviously Game Pass or digital installs on the UK side, but which was surprising given the press that it was given prior to its release and the option to have Game Pass and buy the game digital. So I mean, I guess is or what they were aiming for. I think it was pretty successful.
Yeah, real quick, and I want to get on that too, but Mr. Buster Plummer says in the super chat, just arrived. Has anybody heard anything about Starfield? That's Bethesda's new IP you'll be seeing this E3. No, the last thing I heard about it, Bud, was the fact that it's actually going to show up this E3 during their show. So it's supposed to be a big deal, though. Be curious to see what's going on there, what engine that's running on, things like that, because that's a new IP from them. And apparently it's set in space or something, so I guess we will see. But yeah, you're right, kid. I mean, the numbers are kind of hard to lock it down. What's some of the criticism that you get when you've talked about this?
It's all really related to Microsoft don't share numbers. Oh, that's not 1 million sales. Oh, they refer to like the whole spinning. Oh, Microsoft spinning again. It's the same old bullshit. It's like with Microsoft, it's either say the units sold or don't say anything at all, because everything is really kind of like, oh, well, that's not good enough. It doesn't mean anything, whether it's 1 million players day one or whether it's like 5 million players peaking, So, yeah, as far as I try, honestly, when that news came out, I did my retweets, but I didn't really, tweet much about it or make any videos relative to it, because I already knew what was going to come afterwards.
Gotcha. So. Rand says in the chat, this fraud, he says no Starfield this year. So maybe that's something that's kind of developed over the past month. I haven't really checked into it since then. So maybe you won't see Starfield this year. So kind of keep an open mind to that. But yeah, Sea of Thieves did really well too. It had a shit ton of players in the first few days. And then it came out and took #2 spot on the MPD after Far Cry 5. And that was impressive. People were blown away. They were in disbelief. They're like, they're counting Game Pass. And Aaron Greenberg's like, we're not counting Game Pass.
Well, yeah.
And, those were sales. It did like, several 100,000 units in just like a week or two. So I don't know. How well did it do? I guess we'll have to wait to find out. But everyone I'm talking to, man, so even those that wrote it off, they're like, man, I can't stop playing this game.
Can you clear this up, dealer? This what up in the chat says Fetch Quest is all that there is in State of Decay. I said there aren't that many fetch quests in State of Decay. It's not that type of game.
If you consider going and getting resources a fetch quest, because keep in mind, you're doing that there's no quest involved. You're doing that to power your community. So I could get that. I get that perspective. If you don't like that, like I said in my State of Decay Eurogamer video, I could see the repetitive criticism for some people, but that gameplay loop is what fuels the game for a lot of people. So I like going out, avoiding hordes of zombies, taking on infestation on the way, a blood plague heart here or there, and then going to a gas station, getting fuel for my cars, coming back, trying to survive, barely making it back, and doing that in co-op, which has worked great for me. I don't mind it. So if it's not for you, it's not for you. I'm not going to argue your opinion.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. Yeah.
So how much do you think State of Decay 2 is actually going to sell? Chat, Colt, you too.
I don't know. Crap. I think we'll see sales slow down here in the next couple weeks. So I don't know, 2 million in the first 3 weeks, I guess.
Do you think it'll sell 2 million in the first 3 weeks?
I think. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because you do have access to it with Game Pass. So I mean, that's a lot of people who are unsure about that type of game. Like, am I going to like something like that? Because I don't know if I was upfront about this enough or if I talked about it enough, but I wasn't sure if I'd even like State of Decay 2. And I went ahead and bought the Ultimate Edition, the full package. And I really like it. And it's mostly all I've been playing. Yeah,
because you saw those reviews hit and you were kind of like starting to think the way that all these other people that hadn't played the game were thinking based on these reviews.
The 68s were hit in the morning. I think I bought the game around dinner time. And then that night I went to bed. And when I got up in the morning, I was getting messages about the game tanking on the review scores. And I'm like, oh, man. I actually wasn't really worried about my purchase. I was more worried about how people were going to react and all the talk that was going to go on. Because it gets
just
a little
because
toxic.
People just are stupid and they hold.
You get people that celebrate negativity and celebrate failure or what's considered to be failure. So, that was kind of crappy. And then we just sat down and played the game. Dealers
they call you a corporate slave, and you go look at their Twitter, and it's just I'm telling you what, man.
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous.
It is. It's the double standard is actually ridiculous, more than any kind of bias. But anyway, that day I played the game, and dealers showed me around how to play it and what to do, and a bunch of different people we've joined together and played, and I've really enjoyed it. It's one of those things that State of Decay sucks. It's like, have you played it? No. Well, I'm really enjoying it. I don't know what to tell you.
How did they watched one of your last videos and they saw the footage and like, what's that zombie game? It looks amazing. And you're like, State of Decay 2, and like, that game sucks. And that's how bad it is.
It is. It's too bad.
I would encourage people to try it out. Give it more than a few hours. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It don't hurt my goddamn feelings a damn bit. Shout out to almost 500 people watching, 550 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button if you just joined us. We appreciate it. Shady, what do you think this game's going to top out? Noof Nukem says 1.5 million in the first month.
Well, I was going to say they've already confirmed that it's had 1 million players in 2 days. I'm just waiting on how many juggernauts were killed, how many survivors have died from the blood plague, and how many doors have fallen off of a vehicle. And I'm going to crunch the numbers and get back to you. But no, jokes aside, I think it's going to do maybe 1.5, 2 in the long run. I'll give it a couple of months to do those numbers. And for the record, I found the game's not hugely for me. It's a little too simsy, a little too babysitting. You come back and people are always complaining. I'm listening to Grandpa over here complain to me about having to shit in the same pair of Depends a few times because I can't get them fast enough for him. The apocalypse, Grandpa, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. But
it's the apocalypse, Grandpa. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying.
I'm glad people are enjoying it out there, but I think it'll do well. I don't think it's going to do Gears, God of War numbers.
Well said. Yes. Most importantly, you know what? I think there's already several 100,000 new State of Decay fans. So, I mean, I've just heard a lot of people saying, I've never played the first one. I didn't believe any positivity about the game. Tried it out, and looky there. I like it. D and Kid, real quick. What are your numbers in the first month, you think?
I think it's going to hit 2 million. Just for the simple fact it's on Game Pass, so a lot of people are just going to use their free trial or they're subscribed for 1 month and get it. So I think about 2 million.
Wait, 2 million sales or 2 million players?
I think it's going to do well. Don't they count as a sale anyways? If you
when they talked about Sea of Thieves sales, they weren't including Game Pass players when it came to
if it's hard numbers, I'll go with 1.5.
Nah.
Yeah.
First month? Hell no.
I'd go with 1.5.
Be lucky if it hits freaking 500K, dude.
What?
Yeah, I'm with Kid.
Wow.
I'm with Kid Smooth. All right. I definitely agree with you. We've got an RDX sponsor question from Mel S. Chief Exec. He says, hey, guys, wondering if the next PlayStation will have a remote play option with some sort of next generation PS Vita. This would help kind of negate some of Nintendo Switch's momentum. What do you think about that, D? If PS5 came with a remote play, or even if we want to do hypotheticals, Xbox had some kind of handheld. and they did a remote play feature. Do you think that would take anything away at all from the Switch, the appeal when it has competition?
I think it would, because the Switch, I don't really like the graphics on the Switch. Let's be honest, man. And if one of these companies could produce something similar with much better graphics, yeah, I think people would flock to it. And I think one of these companies are going to try to do that, because the Switch is successful. These companies are going to see that and they're like, shit, we should try a handheld too. And Sony did with the Vita, but unfortunately they didn't really support it. So
if they do a Vita 2, it needs to not use proprietary memory or any of that stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what killed it, man.
It really, like,
those memory cards were so expensive, man.
Yeah, great for the time, and then they removed the OLED screen and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, good question, Chief. Anybody else got any input on this, Colt, Kid, anybody?
Yeah, I was going to say, for 3 years away until next gen, I could definitely see the next 3 years in cell phones going up and up and up as well with it. And with all this cloud technology being purchased by these big companies, I think they're just going to skip buying a separate device, and they're just going to stream everything to everyone's cell phone like Fortnite and PUBG do now. And that'll be the way. There'll be no Switch. There'll be no secondary only game console portable, because the thing all of us have in our pocket is what can connect us to our games.
Shinsai says, yes, but Mario runs at 60 FPS. Well, hey, that's that's pretty good.
I'm a 60, huh?
Oh, God. I'm going to dislike this video for that. Click. All right. So see if these update kits move. All right. As everyone knows, if you see my last video, I put up a video of the Megalodon being defeated, how big it looks. It's fucking crazy looking. And it's definitely the most interesting thing to see at these for me. Kid, what are your impressions of this Hungering Deep update real quick, and your thoughts on the matter? All right, good talk. No one else play this?
I did.
JD, what are your thoughts, bud?
Yeah, I jumped into a match just in time. There was 3 boats parked up at the island talking to the shark guy to get the mission, and we all went out together to go and summon this bad boy out of the depths. So there was like 12 of us all working together, and they all had like big bullhorns now in the game, so you can yell at each other for long distances, which was hilarious. And we beat the drums. The shark came up. He was circling us. We jumped underwater. Confirmed he has a body.
It's not just a pair of floating fins.
No, weirdly, he has 4 eyes as well. They're beady. They're beady. But it was actually a really fun fight. We were all working together. There was like 4 guys down in the bottom constantly bailing water, because every time he hit the boat, we took 4 or 5 holes. We were unloading cannon shots into him. He was charging the boats and biting them, knocking them around. It was great. The fight lasted maybe 10 minutes. We took him down. Big celebratory between everybody. Then we, on our way back to, get our loot, we accidentally rammed one of our comrades with our ship.
Oh, yeah.
We started taking on water, and everyone on our boat was asleep at the goddamn wheel, because we sank. And everyone got eaten by sharks, bailed out by mermaid, except for me, who got picked up by a lovely lady pirate in her sloop. She picked me up and took me to get the loot, and I got to listen to Kid Smooth lose his goddamn mind because he was spawned all by himself on a galleon a couple islands away with no idea where the fuck to go. So we had a great time. It was good. It was fun. I look forward to doing it again.
And we all got crabs. The end. Kid, what are your impressions of the Megalodon battle real quick?
I like it. I really, really like it. I'm going to upload my gameplay shortly after the podcast. I actually went, because the thing is, I got like a phone call like as soon as they like summons it. So when I jumped in, everybody was off the boat onto, I think, the largest boat that was available. I'm like, okay. So I shot myself out of a cannon to try to land on a boat, overshot it, and landed right next to the damn Megalodon. So I tried to take a sword to it. They end up getting like attacked by one of its minion sharks, or one of the smaller sharks. But overall, got to witness it, the full body, big ass shark, wasn't missing a limb. It was cool.
It didn't shit in the water when it came up, so you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see everything. It's very like I said, I put up the video. This thing will literally jump out of the water and take a chunk out of your fucking boat, and it's the size of your boat. I mean, it's massive. It's got several rows of teeth. It's got 4 eyes. It's got several fins on the top. Like, it looks like something both of this world and alien, and it's pretty damn intimidating at first. for sure.
It took at least like 75 or more cannonball hits before it went down. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
by the way,
huge salvos.
Just so people know, we met up with 2 other ships at the island to get where the guy was handing out the mission, and we all went in voice chat. We were all talking to each other, like 8 or 12 of us or more.
Yeah.
And we all 3 ships were just engaged in combat with this thing that was swimming underwater, jumped out of the water at the boats. Like I said, definitely the most interesting thing in the whole game to me, for sure.
Yeah, because the thing is about the game, you know, it's crazy. Some of the complaints that people say, "Oh, you don't run into ships," and stuff like that. Is that I was afraid when I seen them that they were going to attack. You know, I did something immature and premature and tried to shoot them in the head. And, but
that was the lady pirate that saved me. Actually, she told me the story about one kid Smooth who stabbed her in the back instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you watch my stream, like I was also like using the telescope to view the lady parts, but that's neither here or there. The game, no, it was just funny. I just wanted to entertain the stream, but the whole thing about like having all those like crews like together and to be able to do that one mission, I was like, yo, this is like, it made me like think so much differently about the freaking game, and I hope they do more. It just hopefully they like bring the stuff out quickly and more efficient. But that was a really fun mission, actually. A really fun mission.
I was really surprised at the fact that people were all on this island, like 3 or 4 ships were all parked at this island. And this is what I wanted from Sea of Thieves, really, like kind of like that hub city mentality where you got a bunch of ships docked into the, you know, maybe a small city and it's driven by trade and people are trading goods and ship parts and all this stuff. But this is the closest thing I got to it, with a bunch of ships docked at the same island, like fucking 15 to 20 people at one point, I think. All on this island, and no one's killing each other. No one, except for fucking Kid Smooth decides to try to fuck with people, and it gets destroyed. But other than that, nobody else was trying to kill each other, and I was very surprised by that. It was actually pretty cool. And then you get in the game chat, and the guys are pretty funny and stuff. So it was interesting. We might have to try it again. Darth Vicious wants to run through it with us, so we'll definitely try it with Darth as well. So.
I know I'm looking forward to chasing down a couple ships with that new megaphone, yelling at them to throw their booty overboard, because I'm not gonna stop otherwise.
Taylor, did you survive the blast where I killed Attic for making me like find him?
Yeah, because you was chasing pigs and stuff, not paying attention. So yeah, he was you know, he's a little ragey at you, but for sure I definitely survived. I bailed. So I want to talk about June games with gold. So this was kind of controversial on Twitter because people are like, what the fuck is this? But it's also interesting in a very, interesting way. So for June, you've got Assassin's Creed Russia for the Xbox One. You've got Smite, which is apparently $100 bundle. Is that correct? It says on the picture, it has a cross out over the price. It says $99.
Yeah, that's big for Smite players, but not for me. But yeah.
Well, that was my point about games with gold before. It only matters if you use it, right? The value's only there if you use it, right?
Well,
so,
yeah.
I mean, that was where I was coming from weeks ago. I get nothing out of it, but I just think it's interesting that they're giving you $100 worth of gems and all this stuff, apparently. But Titan Drago said something else that I'm not exactly sure what he was talking about.
It unlocks gods, that you have to pay for.
Yeah, so you get that $100 version of Smite. You get on the 360, you get Lego Indiana Jones and Sonic All-Stars Racing. Man, what are your thoughts about this, D? Is this a win or is this what is this?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not really appealing to me, to be honest with you.
Now, just so we know, real quick, this was leaked early, right? And people are like, I don't think this is real. I do think this is real. And I'm like, what do you guys think? You think this is real? The Smite bundle by itself is $100. And then Windows Central apparently said this was leaked by Xbox Wire. They put it up and took it back down. So that's why I thought it was real at the end of the night. And then Major Nelson confirmed it today. So for those that don't know, those are your June games with gold. D, what were you saying?
Who cares about Smite? Like, I don't mean to be cruel, but like, I don't know. Smite's not my type of game, just being honest.
It has a community.
It's not it doesn't excite me. I don't care. Put some real good AAA games in there, like especially how we're all starving for some. At least put them in the games for gold.
Now, one thing that a lot of people are forgetting is that the past probably 6 games with gold have had at least one really good game. Like that the games with gold have been really good lately. I mean, not a lot better than they used to be. You know, we kept talking every month about how Game Pass would hinder, excuse me, games with gold, and we found out every month that it actually wasn't hindering it. Right? You guys remember this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like we got Dead Space 2 and a bunch of other games, but it's kind of interesting. I think they have like a little bit of strategy to not release anything big when something big is happening. Like when Microsoft has a big first party game, they have a slower games with gold that month. And so I'm like, why would they do that for E3? That doesn't make any sense unless they have something planned for June, but I doubt it. So it's just one bad one, I guess.
I think at E3 we're probably going to get some type of Crackdown demo. I'm pretty sure on that.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, it's really far-fetched, but if they were going to say at the end of June, we've got a multiplayer beta, a closed beta or something at the very least, right? But, you know, you don't want to give away 4 really great games and push the cheapskates away from buying something, but that's a free beta. So
my logic is I'm not going to complain a lot about something that's free. So if you know, I'm paying for gold at the end of the day. I'm paying the same price. So could it be better? Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be dumb not to admit that. Could it be worse? Yes. I think it'd be dumb not to admit that. But this one in particular, it's not for me. Shady, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's a pretty good list, actually. I'm down with that Assassin's Creed. They've given the other 2 side-scrollers away, so this completes that trilogy for me, so I don't have to spend $1 on it. That feels good. Well, outside of my subscription. I didn't play Smite when it was free to play, but the fact that I can go in and maybe buff up some of my characters and pick a couple of different dudes, so I'm going to check it out. That's pretty cool. Sonic Racer, I've heard, is really good kart racer game. We don't have any kart racers as far as I know, and there's a lot of people out there that think you're not a real gamer if you're not into Mario Kart. So I'll give that a shot as well. And then as for Lego Indiana Jones, the Lego games are fun here and there. They're not overall for me, but my sister actually has an Xbox One, and the only games she plays are the Lego games. She 100%s them all like a psychopath, but there are people out there that are, you know, they're into that kind of stuff. I think it's a fine thing, and to ask for, you know, huge games with gold, I think is kind of unrealistic, to be honest. And when they do show up, it's usually way late, and I've owned them for you know, a year anyway, so they don't help me there. I like these little games that show up because I wouldn't buy them myself, so I enjoy when they are given to me.
Daniel B. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but he says they're not free. You pay. Yeah, that goes without saying. Yeah, you pay for Xbox Live Gold, but that's why I said I pay for gold. I'm not paying the fee for games with gold. I'm paying the same fee I've always been paying for gold, not games with gold. So, like I said, it could be better, it could be worse, but when it comes to what I was paying for before and what I'm paying now, I'm getting more for the same price. So that's why I say, in a way, it's free, even though it's not. But like I said, that goes without saying. Everyone here knows that you got to pay to get those. So, So Shady, you kind of look.
I think it's a good list. These are games that I didn't buy because they're not games that I would spend my own money on. But when they're included in a subscription that I'm a part of, I'll take them and I'll play these ones. So sweet.
Kid.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I was one of the ones that said this is fake. I'm not taking this until I see it on Xbox Wire or a Major Nelson tweet, and there it came. And
that's because you get someone that only reports on drama saying, well, this is trash, and it's like, well, what if they were good? If they were good, would you have said these are good? No, you probably don't. So you're like, well, let's wait till they're confirmed. I get that.
Yeah, but I'm not like. My only concern was Smite, because when I seen Smite, I'm like, isn't that free already? But if it's the $100 bundle, then I mean that's pretty good value. If they're giving you that and games with gold, I absolutely have no interest in Smite. But the thing is, honestly, guys, I download in the last really 8 months or so, I probably downloaded maybe 3 games with gold games. I either have them or have no interest in using them. I mean, I get it. Because a lot of these games, if I don't have them, it's a game that I didn't buy, and I can take advantage of it. But games with gold isn't really a value to me in the way that it might be for other people. Those who probably don't buy games as often. So that's why it's like once I see them, it's like if I'll see something good, the chances are when they have a good game, I probably already have that game. And that's where it's like, oh, well, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't expect it. You got to think about, we got Game Pass. And if you're like gamers like us, where we buy almost everything, it's like 9 times out of 10, whatever they are giving you, you probably aren't going to download or probably aren't going to play again because you either played it, unless it's like usually a 360 game or something.
So the value is extremely variable from person to person. I mean, like I said, if you get all 4 of these games this month and you play the shit out of them, like you got your whole year subscription for gold value right there. That's if you play these top to bottom. So, you know, it just depends, you know. I think you get a lot of value for those games over time, but I'm with you. I own a lot of the stuff. I'm a hardcore guy. I got like over 500 games, so it's kind of hard to be like, yeah, you know, I'll take that. I took Metal Gear Solid 5, like last month, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid, I never got that game, so you know that was a good scoop for me. This is an odd one, but yeah, like Kid Smooth was saying, we're the hardcore, man. We have most of these games already, so it's kind of old news for us.
Well, if no one else has anything to add, God of War hit 5 million in the first month. I'll just say this real quick because I don't want to cover God of War again. It's a good game. It is what it is. I will say that this is good for Xbox as well, because this shows Microsoft that if you like Quantum Break, if you like Rise, if you like Sunset Overdrive, if you like Rise of the Tomb Raider, if you like any of these story-driven games, Wolfenstein 2, anything like that. Some people call them one and done for some reason. If you like anything like that, this shows Microsoft that these games are extremely viable. And you're going to be getting some single player high quality stuff from some really good studios. So 5 million in a month. It's set several records for Sony. It's good stuff. But I do want to go in depth on Miami Street, Microsoft's new IP. Woo! We all got rickrolled. I did a video, and I don't think a lot of people got past the rickroll where I go into detail in the game. They just like, what the fuck? But Miami Street being developed by Electric Square. If you guys remember, this was the Forza kart rumor. We talked about this months ago. There was a Forza kart racing rumor. We all thought that was extremely stupid, and it was being developed by Electric Square, right? Well, it turns out this is what they were working on. It is an IP for Microsoft, but it's for Windows and I think mobile, maybe coming to mobile or something. It's a point and click or point quick time racing game, but with some decent visuals to it. I got footage of it in my video about Microsoft's new IP if you're curious. Kid, what do you think about this game and the fact that it's a Microsoft IP, meaning they invested money, and it is what it is. Hopefully it wasn't a lot, but it's not even coming to their own console, let alone, What are your thoughts on this?
It's stuff like this that make me question what the hell are they doing. I just don't understand them, dude. Like, sometimes I don't understand the motive. I don't understand the decisions. And I'm like, what are they seeing that we are not seeing where this is of value? Like, I don't get it. But
it's the billions of cell phone users, not the 30 to 40 million Xbox One users that they see that you apparently don't.
And
I don't think it's on cell phone right now, though.
It's like it's on like.
I think it's Windows 10 store.
There's a lot of Windows 10 users.
Don't they have a lot of freaking racing games already, though, that are exclusives on the Windows Store? I downloaded a couple of them. Those Asphalt games.
It's like I was looking at some footage, boys. Just you drive around and steer your car with 2 mouse button clicks here. This doesn't cost a lot of money to develop, and it doesn't really matter. The world is bigger than just Xbox, and Microsoft is huge. No one gives Sony. No one's giving Sony guff because they're making movies and TV shows out the yin yang that aren't exclusive to the PlayStation. Nobody, because they're
that's not a fair comparison.
Why isn't it? Sony,
because Sony,
Microsoft does more than Xbox.
Yeah, but
a lot more than Xbox.
When you're talking games, I mean, you look at Xbox. I mean, I understand they own Windows, they make Windows, and they have to support that platform, but you're not going to support it with that fucking trash. I mean, we were hearing rumors of them like not having a budget to place games, and they use money on this. This is ridiculous. Like, come on, they see the state of Xbox, how it's being viewed, how it's being talked about, and the reports that are coming out. They can't look at their library, look at Nintendo's library, then look at PlayStation's library and be like, oh, we're fine. Like, come on, that is ridiculous.
No. On the inclusive nature of modern gaming, there are a lot of people out there that haven't been gaming, and looking at the modern controllers is the first thing that scares them away. So having beginner games like this that look fantastic because they use assets from games like Forza is fine. It doesn't
Why
take
not put it
anything
on
away.
Xbox then? If
Maybe
bring some people.
maybe they will. Then maybe they will. But right now it's not, and we're just jumping to conclusions. I don't think that them having put money into the game is a problem, or not having it on an Xbox is a problem. Really, it's nothing to brag about. Do you want a 2-button mouse click racing game on Xbox? Like, who cares? Really?
No, I understand, but when I hear Microsoft investing and putting out new games, I kind of hope it's for Xbox. They're the one that's been, I mean, like, come on, like
it'd be nice, but this is a small, tiny title that's basically aimed at the moms of the world that want to drive a Ferrari with their left hand. I mean, who cares? It's casual. Come back to me when it's the next Gears of War or Halo that's skipping Xbox. And I don't mean the arcade game. I mean actual official game. Like, when that starts happening, there's something to worry about. But right now, this is a tiny mobile game coming from
nobody here worried. We're not worried about Microsoft, especially now that Phil's got the keys, right? But I'm just saying that
they have the money that they can.
It's just like the Halo light gun game. There's no amount of damage control that can justify that to me. And it's not, it's another game that's literally that's the only exclusives that they have right now. Technically, is stuff that's only in Dave and fucking Buster's or Windows 10.
Yeah, well, but it was made by an outside company, guys. Sorry, it was made by an outside company, that game. If anything, Microsoft made money just by licensing it to them.
Miami Street is the universal Windows platform, right, dealers? So if they wanted to, they could just port it over to the Xbox.
The A button to gas.
Yeah, and then just dump that game on. Well, I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. The PlayStation 4 and the Xbox both have a crap ton of games that we couldn't even name. Like, there's a lot of little tiny games. And some of them are really, really rated well, and you've probably never even heard of them. So if that's just one game out of the library, who cares? It's just it's not the Xbox division. So the Xbox division is doing whatever they're doing that we're going to find out in 2 weeks for E3, or I don't know. There's your game that's exclusive to PC and not Xbox.
After the reception of Sea of Thieves and State of Decay with a lot of people out there, could you imagine if this game was releasing on Xbox and this was their next exclusive title?
And it gets like
hanging themselves with their power cords.
And it gets, it goes to Xbox and it gets a 52 on Metacritic. It'd be just a terrible time for anybody who enjoys Xbox. I just put out a video talking about some of these lower rated, halfway decent games on Xbox, and then you do better. And I think we are going to see something better. We have to. It's what Xbox needs. And when dealer says
people that need to learn to understand that just because you don't want to hear a fucking negative thing about Microsoft doesn't mean that other people are with you. Okay. Just because we say that, and I'm not talking to anybody on this panel, but just because we're mentioning Miami Street, you're really going to look at this channel and the amount of shows we do and the stuff that we put out and the positivity we put out, and then say that we're being fucking ridiculous. Like, we're massive fans. I think it's ridiculous to give someone shit because they're talking about Miami Street. That's fucking stupid.
Absolutely.
So if you want to find nothing but positives in some of this shit, good for you. But we all have opinions, just like we all have assholes. And I think it's okay to say, well, this isn't for me. I don't understand it. I said it in the video already. A lot of people didn't finish the fucking video or telling me things I already said in the video. Hey, I said in the video, look, this is good in a way. I'll see a positive here. They're getting things like Halo Light Gun and fucking Miami Street out of the way for E3. There's not going to be any space wasted on this. And the big stuff is coming. So don't come and tell me that it's not okay for me to talk about this, because it is. It definitely is. That's just my opinion. Good stuff coming at E3. But I don't like this shit. Just because you accept it doesn't mean I do. Yeah. So anyway, Shady, you got a ton of good points. And I see it from both sides, but I'm not necessarily excited about it or happy about it.
I didn't say I was excited about it. I just said that's why it exists. Simple as that. That's all.
Okay.
But anyone else got anything to say on Miami Street? Deep match?
No, this is what's to be said. Like,
you run this in 8K on the PC or what? You know you're gonna be playing this.
I honestly tell you, I'm not really interested in it. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I want some AAA goodness, and I'm not gonna settle for less. Hey, State of Decay, I like that game, even though it's not a AAA game. But apart from that, I need some big titles now, man.
Hey, why didn't we
these little fillers?
Thank you, D. Why didn't we mention this non-existent patch? State of Decay needs like this one patch that'll just smooth over the icing on that game, and there's no word from Undead Labs. And I try to be really positive about the Xbox, but I don't know what's like. Undead Labs finished the game and like, we're going to Mexico, and they took off. I hate to tell you, Undead Labs, I really like what you did with the sequel, but your vacation was supposed to be 2 weeks after the game launch so that you could approve and release your patch. And not hear a single word, a tweet or a press release or anything about a work in progress patch is not acceptable. Well, the game's great.
Like I said, I mean, the same people's like, don't talk about Miami Street. Well, where were you when I was just the only guy fucking sitting there making a video about State of Decay 2 saying the masses are wrong about it? Like, you can't just flop on me that quick. Give me the benefit of the doubt here. So I will say that is weird that we normally hear from the developer after the fact. I'm sure they might have said something somewhere. They might have said something somewhere. I'm sure of it. Maybe. But I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of a patch date. I'm not aware of any of that, even though I haven't had many issues. Some people have, and that's a harsh reality we have to deal with. So I do want to get a couple other things out of the way. And if you're still listening, guys, like I said, it's all opinions, and we appreciate everybody sharing their own opinion. Please share yours in the chat, the comment section below after the show ends as well. But, you know, take it for what it is. We're all fans here. Some of us are just passionate in a different way than others. So E3,
some way to put it.
E3, it's going to be 2 hours long this year, apparently, according to this leak. So you're looking at a massive amount of fucking awesomeness coming up this June. Just in a few weeks. What'd you say, Shady? 12 days?
I think it's 12 days, maybe 13, something like that.
13 days.
I cannot wait to see what's going, because you got to know, like, all these games we saw last year, you know, I think they're going to take a similar approach, right? Some people liked it. Some people hate. I think they stomped Sony's E3 last year. I'm sorry, but I do. And I like the fact they showed so much. And even though a lot of it was indies, what was still way more AAAs than Sony showed. So I guess now people are going to say, well, third parties don't count. But when they see third-party stuff at Sony show, they're going to be excited for it. I don't act like one doesn't count and one does. I think that's stupid. So I think if you show first-party, that's awesome, and I want more of it on Xbox. But if you show third-party like Anthem, I'm going to be just as excited, and I think we're going to see a lot of cool stuff like Anthem that have a much more developed Anthem this year at E3. Cyberpunk, stuff like that. What are you guys really, really tuning in for here? I'll start with Kid.
For E3, you know what? Honestly, man, my expectation has been low key like down. I don't even feel that E3 is like 12 days away, but there's a lot of stuff I want to see and a lot of stuff that I hope to see. I just don't know. We never know with this Microsoft group, man. I just don't know if they're gonna like even bother. But I want to see Anthem again. I want to see some full gameplay of that. You know, Metro, even though it just got delayed, and what they're gonna do with Crackdown. I want to see it. I want to know it still exists. But I'm curious about the unknown. You know, the rumors of like the Fables and maybe the revival of Perfect Dark. Are they finally gonna bring Halo back? Gears of War 5 or Gears of War something. I'm hoping it's not this bull crap RTS or freaking XCOM type style game, because that would make me pew up.
When I mentioned that in my last video, people were like, "That will be so stupid. You're an idiot for thinking that." Like, well, we talked about this,
dude. I hope Gears of War remains on its 2-year life cycle. That it like, because Gears of War, people don't realize Gears of War was actually on a 2-year life cycle. Like, so I won't mind seeing a Gears 5. I don't care about anybody else seeing a Gears 5 in 2 years. I want to see a Gears 5. If it's not Gears 5, I'd rather a Judgment 2 than a spinoff. It's going to be a RTS or some XCOM.
I definitely don't think it's Gears 5. Because Gears 4 took 2.5 years to make.
Yeah.
And I think that I think Microsoft have shifted gears here. And this is good for us, though we will pay the price this year. I think they shifted gears
last year.
Well, we're going to pay, you know, I said on Xbox Nation fucking 6-8 months ago, there's going to be a lull. And you're going to have 1.5 years, 2 years where you're going to be relying on multi-plats, much like PS4 was at the beginning of the generation, right?
Yep.
And, you know, that sucks. But games are games. And I will say that I think Microsoft are giving Gears and Halo an additional year of development time. I definitely don't think you'll see Crackdown 3 this year. I think it's gotten delayed to 2019 secretly. I think it's secretly gotten delayed to 2019. Just bookmark this video. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm hearing.
So you don't think we're going to see it? We're not even going to see it?
I think we should see it. I'm not sure about that, but I don't think it's coming out this year. So Colt Eastwood, take that gun out of your mouth and
oh my gosh.
You know, and if you don't agree, that's fine. That's nothing to take offense to, right? I mean, that's just my theory and what I'm hearing. So
we can only have our educated predictions. Somebody came at me today on Twitter. Is like, what about that one time when you were wrong with this prediction? I'm like, well, you know, I'm not Mary Poppins. I try to be. It's like I'm not.
And then you fly away with an umbrella. Whee!
Yeah. Whoa! They got the game for 2019.
Yeah.
Ask me, dealer. Ask me what I think's coming or what I'm excited for.
Game Tato says, I like you guys. Hey, we like you too, man. What was the question? Sorry.
What I'm looking forward to for E3. Ask me.
What are you looking for? I know it's Barbie Horse Racing 2018, you said.
Yeah, and native 4K. I really am excited to I agree with Luke in the chat. He said he's right there with me. He's can't wait to see Forza Horizon 4. He said, I don't care where it takes place. I know it's gonna be fun. I agree with him. I can't wait to see Red Dead somehow on some stage. We need to see some gameplay, but that may not be there. But what I want Microsoft to do is, let's say right now Microsoft knows they're in the works for Gears 5 and Halo 6 and a Fable game. I want them to have spent the past few months putting together some type of trailer to show those games, even if they're not coming out for 1 to 3 years. I want Microsoft to spend a bunch of time of E3 showing us what's coming out in the future like Sony does, because it's always been successful. It generates hype. It's never a bad thing to show what's coming, even if it's Death Stranding in 2020 or 2021, right? That's what I want Microsoft to do more than anything. And if so be it, gosh dang it, dealer, if they show Crackdown and say it's 2019, I'll put a big smile on my face and say, "Oh, I can't wait."
So you want them to fight fire with fire?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't you guys? Do you agree that they should fight fire with fire?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people feel that way, but in the chat, I know there's some people that feel the opposite because they don't like the fact that Sony does it. But Eternal Shaddai in the super chat says, "Will we see anything with cloud computing this year at E3?" If Crackdown's there, the only way Crackdown's going to leave its mark in a big way is by opening or having some kind of massive multiplayer destruction footage. I actually showed that footage in a very recent Crackdown delayed to 2019 video. Just go to the backlog. There's ridiculous technology there. People don't understand how ridiculous this fucking destruction is. It's insane. It's better than what you think, no matter how well you're thinking. So just go check that out because it's all right there. That was a demo from 2015. It was working perfectly. And that was 3 years ago. So you can only imagine shit's probably working pretty well now on console. So the good question, Eternal. Definitely, guys. Kid, real quick. Shady. Let's start with you, Shady. What are you really hoping for? What's going to do it for you this year?
Oh, man, I'm like a fat kid at a candy store with pockets full of change and a long list of things to grab. I'm excited, man. I want to see Halo 6. I want to see something to do with Gears. I want to see multiplayer Crackdown 3 with some kind of a beta release and an actual release date, not window, but date would be solid. I'm excited to see where Forza Horizon 4 lands itself on the globe. Real excited for that. I got a theory about all the rumors in the past on Perfect Dark being worked on with help from the Coalition. I think when the Coalition used to be Black Tusk Studios. Remember they showed off that one spy-looking type
Shanghai
game?
Heist.
Yeah, they showed off this weird little trailer that would look very, kind of Splinter Cell-y. I think that game might have been reworked into a Splinter Cell, or not into a Splinter Cell, into a Perfect Dark with Joanna there. And I think maybe that will be the new IP or the old IP redone that comes out. I'd like to see that. I want to see Splinter Cell, as I've already brought that up. I want to know what the hell Starfield is. I can't wait for more Beyond Good and Evil 2 because the stuff I've watched, a little bit of tidbits in the last year, just make me slobber like an absolute retard. Division 2, look, it's going to be amazing. The first one was good. I hope Doom 2 is coming.
Yes, people, he said retard.
7 seconds.
Calm down. Rage 2 is going to be good. I think they're going to talk about some type of cooperative aspect that's going to be in the game. And Biomutant, I think, is going to be really cool, too. I hope to see some more of that.
Don't forget Splinter Cell will make its reveal at E3 as well. And I think that'll be the Microsoft stage as well. So that'll probably hit November because there's so much stuff coming out in October. Call of Duty, Red Dead, Battlefield 5. It's like nothing that we know of right now has been confirmed for November of note that I can think of. Maybe you guys can help me in the chat. But Anyone else, real quick, before we move on to the topic here?
I just hope that they show some new IPs. I just want some new IPs, man. Honest to tell you, man. I know we're gonna get Forza. We're probably gonna get some type of Gears or Halo teaser, but I really want to see some new IPs, man.
Well, just anything new do for you, or do you have anything specific you'd like to see?
Anything new. Just give me something new that's AAA, that's up to par, that's graphically amazing, that showcases the X. Just give me something new.
Just wide open, new. All right.
Derp Dep in the chat there says Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That's a big one for me. I am probably the most excited for that game right now of anything. And I know that might be blasphemy to some of you, but I did a poll on Twitter, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I think, came in second over Battlefield and Forza Horizon 4. Only Red Dead beat it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about. Anyone else got anything else to say about the C3 stuff?
I think it's going to be amazing. Apart from the exclusive stuff that we're looking forward to on Microsoft and I would say Sony, whatever, we're going to get some awesome multi-plat. So I can't wait for E3. A couple weeks away. It's a day before my birthday. So let's go.
Ooh. Yes, let's do it. Xbox June update introducing folders. So I covered this a while back. I think it's coming. Taxes. It's coming out of preview apparently or some crap. Maybe someone can correct me there. But yeah, you'll be able to do some folders and put your games in some folders and crap. This is what Windows Central are calling the June update, and they did that in parentheses. So I'm guessing they got that from somewhere. So right now, that's all that's known about the June update. The fact that they're bringing folders and stuff into the console, and every month it just tends to get better. We should be seeing those new avatars soon. I don't know where the hell those are at. Those were supposed to be out late last year. I don't know if you guys remember, but they were already supposed to be out a while back, so I don't know. Hopefully those come out soon as well. But that is our time, guys. If you're still here, please hit that like button, guys. Let's try to get past 300 for the end of the show as we do some outros. We really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to our opinions. We love listening to yours in the chat. And, of course, for the sponsors, you guys are awesome. You power the show. We're going to start with outros, starting with our guest, Kid Smooth, man. Where can people find you, brother?
Oh, man, please look for me on the youtube.com/KidSmooth, on Twitter @KidSmooth. Help me get to 10,000 subscribers. It's been like a 10-year fight, man. I'm getting old here. But yeah, thank you guys for having me. Thanks, Diller. Thanks, Colt. Everybody. So Shady, was a pleasure playing Sea of Thieves with you. Hopefully we can do that again.
Yeah, definitely check out Kid's stuff, and Kid too. I encourage everyone on the show to link their stuff in the comments if they ever want to. Link it down there so people can find you, brother. And also we got So Shady, good debate, good points of view about a ton of topics today. Another good show, brother.
Well, thanks, my man. As everyone knows, I am So Shady, the speaker of the Sesh Empire, and that's where you can find me on Twitter, is So Shady @the Sesh Empire. Come check it out. We like to have a good time. E3's coming. It's going to be hot. There'll be a lot to talk about. Thanks.
There always is. D-Batch, the Sultan of Goats. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter @D_Batch and on YouTube @DBatch. And this week I'm doing a whole bunch of reviews on my channel. A couple of VR reviews are going to be going up. I'm building a Ryzen 2600 build, and I'm going to get an DJI Osmo Mobile 2. I'm going to be reviewing that as well.
Sounds good. You did a review recently as well on your channel, so I encourage people to check that out.
I'm sorry, D. What 2600 what there? Sorry?
The Ryzen 2600 build. We're gonna do a benchmark on this build.
Yeah, we can't wait to see it. Cole Eastwood, brother, you just released a video today. Where can people find you? I
actually just released my career-crushing video today, where I critiqued Microsoft for their exclusives, but no, it's not all doom and gloom. I've really enjoyed some of those games that have mediocre scores. And it's funny, as we look back, we probably like a lot of games that are in the 60s and 70s score. So it's kind of a weird that way, isn't it?
I like Rise, man. What can I say? I
did. It's one of the lowest. It's a 60. I really liked it, and I would love to see it come back again. But please do me a favor and go check out that video and let me know your feedback on it, because it was a tough one to make. Even tougher to release the video. I sat on it all weekend, like a little baby raptor egg. Like, but yeah, I mean, you know, when you do this YouTube stuff, you know, sometimes it's a little like you can bite your nails a little bit. Just giving your opinion, it's tough because people put a magnifier on you. But I really appreciate your support, everybody, and the chat is really awesome tonight. Good show, and oh my gosh, we're going to be at E3 in no time, so we'll all be here doing a show right after that, right, Dealer?
Yeah,
Probably.
we're gonna have a ton of stuff E3 time. It's so confusing because no matter when you do a show, you're stepping on someone's fucking toes, and you know, it's I don't know what we're doing yet. Probably show after E3. We'll see, but there's
We'll
just
make
a
it
ton
work.
going on. We'll figure something else out for all the people asking about the E3 stuff on Twitter. We'll definitely have something going on. And once again, guys, thanks for listening to us. We appreciate it. You know, check out the links in the description if you want to become a sponsor. Shout out to the new sponsor, John Yu. This month he joined, and like I said, if you want to join, feel free to check those links out down below. Check these guys out, all great guys. Thanks for checking out the show. We're out, guys.
Peace.
No.